Hey everyone, Richard Robbins here. Well, the numbers are in for the Greater Toronto Area up to the end of August. Now, I'm going to take you through what's happened so far this year, but what I'm also going to do, I've created a couple slides at the end where I've broken down different property types. So I've broken down the detached, the condo market, that sort of thing. And the reason why is we're starting to see a shift in what is selling and what is starting to slow. Very different from what we've seen in the past. So I think this is going to be very helpful to you as you have conversations with buyers and sellers. So let's have a look here. We've got obviously January through to the end of August. What do we have? We got all our sales, we got the active listings, we got the months of inventory, we got your average price, and we get days in the market. If you want to have a closer look at these, you can obviously download them if you would like. We know what happened in March. COVID hit. So you can see what was going on here. We did about 8,000 sales in March, and then April we dropped to 2,975. Now that's pretty significant. But then what started to happen, everything started to pick up, and it really got some momentum. Look at May went to 4,606, 8,701 in June, and look at July, 11,081. Massive month. Then August down slightly by 2.8% to 10,775, which isn't concerning because a lot of people take holidays in August and it does typically slow down a little bit anyway. But if we look at your months of inventory, so what's that? The strength of the market, obviously 4 to 6 is balanced. If we're below 4, we're in more of a seller's market. Strong prices above 6, we're into a buyer's market. Prices start to weaken. Well, look what happened. We're at 1.7. Like the market's been crazy. 1.2, 1.3, like just crazy strong, and then we're up to 3.5. But even in April, compared to most other markets, it was still pretty strong. And then since then, 2.5, 1.6, 1.4, 1.5. It's really crazy what's going on. And prices were up almost 1% just month over month. But look at this. This is 2019 sales compared to 2020. Your sales were up by 39.7% over last August. Okay, crazy increase. What about prices year over year? August to August, look it up by 20%. Is there any better investment than real estate right now with prices going up? But how about year to date? So if we look at the total number of sales in 2019, we did 60,418 up to the end of August and 57,987, so that was down by 4%. But I will say this to all of you. About the month of April, if I had said by the end of August we'll only be off by 4%, you all would have been pretty happy, I bet, right? So we're recovering, and I think we're going to, and probably in the month of September, surpass, okay, the total sales year over year. Now here's your months of inventory. Again, we started really low, we spiked up here, and you can see we're way down. We're at 1.5. Last year we were at 2.1 months of inventory in August. This year, 1.5. So obviously much stronger than it was last year. But here's what I think you're going to find really interesting. A little different from what I usually do. If we look at your detached, semi-detached, attached row townhouses and condo apartments, if we look at 19 August to 20 August, you can see your sales were up in detached by 50%. 50%. Huge number. What about semi-detached? Up by 65%. Huge number. Okay, what about attached row and townhouses? 51%. Huge number. What about condos? Oh, only up by 10%. So what's starting to happen is we're starting to see a shift. If we go back 3-4 years, the condo market was the strongest market. It was crazy. All of a sudden that started to shift where now it's not as strong as the other 3 property types. Why would that be happening? And again, more of the upper end condo. If you've got an inexpensive condo, still very strong, but more of the upper end ones are starting to sit on the market, take longer to sell. Because think about this, COVID-19, high density. Who wants to be high density in COVID-19 times? And also, what do people need right now? More space, because many people are what? They're working at home. So because they're working at home, they need more space, and a condo might not suit them. But also, think about this. If somebody now is working virtually, do they need to live in the big city? Maybe not. So some people are probably starting to move out, you know, whether it's Port Hope, Cobourg, Niagara area, Barrie, it doesn't matter. Those markets are on fire because a lot of people are moving out of the city. This trend will be a short-lived trend, but we get a little bit of that happening right now. Now, what about this? If we look at months of inventory, we look at months of inventory, we had 2.7 last year and detached 1.4. Look at your detached market is 1.4 months of inventory. That's nothing. Look at this semi-detached. You went from 1.2 to 0.8. That's like 33% difference, right? Look at this, 1.6 to 0.9, 43% difference. Condo market, what happened? It went up. See, all three markets went down, except the condo market went to 2.8, which, by the way, is still a strong market. Okay, let's not overthink this, but it is up by 86.7%. So if you look at your prices, same thing, August 2019 to 20, detached up by 20%. You're detached. Look at this, semi-detached up by 18%, attached row and townhouses 16%, condos only up by 9.6%. So what you can see is we're starting to see some shifts. And obviously, it's happening because of COVID. So when you're talking to buyers and sellers, when you're pricing condos, pricing detached, I think you start using some of these numbers right here so you can show people exactly what is going on in the market. But here's some other good news. In the month of August, Canada added over 200,000 jobs. Our unemployment rate sort of peaked out around 13.5. We're right now around 10. Now it's still much higher than where we started, but it's moving the right direction. So people are getting back to work. We've got very low interest rates. I suspect the next 2 to 3 months are still going to be relatively strong. However, the thing that might change things is a lot of these government programs are starting to wrap up, and that could start to have an effect in the market. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, but right now the market is strong. Make hay while the sun's shining, if you know what I'm saying. And just remember, everybody, it's a beautiful life. Make it count.